Welcome to Jackie Builds a Capra.
Jackie builds CAPRA. Jackie builds a CAPRA. Jackie builds CAPRA. Jackie builds a CAPRA.
And now we are live. So, welcome everyone to the Jackie Built a Capra Facebook live stream brought to you by Locked Up RC. For those of you, are you okay with the selfie camera for a second?
Yes.
Okay. So, for those of you that don't know us or don't know Jackie, this is Jackie.
Hello.
I may have to change the exposure a little bit because it's extra dark tonight for some
forward.
reason. Maybe I have the lights doing it a little differently than I had them last night. I don't know. Oh, it's probably also because I'm blocking this, but this is Jackie. Jackie is going to be building our Axial CAPRA today. Jackie has zero experience building RCs, right, Jackie?
That's right.
Would you say that you are modestly or not at all mechanically inclined?
I know the difference between a Phillips and a flathead.
There you go. See, so that's progress. That's what we need. So, welcome to the show. I'm going to let you just dig in. Whatever questions you have, ask me. I'm right behind you to help, but I want to get like out of your hair. So I'll be tweaking the video and stuff to make it pretty. But I'm going to let you do this.
All
So
right, everybody.
tear into it.
I love unboxing videos. This is fun for me. So, there is a big fancy sticker on here. I wish I had my pocket knife.
Oh yeah, I guess I should, since Jackie doesn't know what a lot of this stuff is. You've got various tools in here. You've got your X-Acto. I guess they can't see that, so I'll do this. So you've got an X-Acto. You've got scissors, barnacle reamer, marker, little pliers. I suspect you might end up needing those, so I'll put those there for you. Some little mini vice grips, little baby screwdrivers, various things. A good stabber if you need to stab somebody, whatever.
Sometimes you gotta stab.
Sometimes you gotta do some stabbing.
Alright, let me show off the box first for anybody that is interested. It's very nice.
Yeah, we need to get like a light. I feel like if we had a light on, well, that's pretty good, but I feel like if we had a light on the camera itself,
What's a both
So-
sides?
what's that?
What's both sides?
So the both sides are these. So see the side right here? So a both side is basically when you take the side of a vehicle and you cut it up short, right? So you cut off like the rocker panel on the bottom of the door, and then you put sides on it that are angled like this, like a boat, basically. And it's both sides.
Alright.
Lots of learning.
That's interesting. I was thinking it might be packed in foam somehow.
Oh, Eric says to please turn down the background music. We will do that, Eric. Thank you for letting us know. Let me know if that's better, Eric.
Alright, bag G. Oh, it's just bag I. 1 H E. Ooh, look at those springs.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I have successfully put together IKEA furniture, so I'm pretty optimistic.
Fair enough. Let me take that box from you. Give you some space.
Stickers! Now,
Yeah, those will probably last.
can I paint the body? Or is that a thing I can do?
Yeah. We're not going to do that inside because then we'll be jacked up. This is locked up, not jacked up.
Well, I'm Jackie.
You are Jackie, though. Jacked up with Jackie. That could be an evening show, I think, that would involve scotch and a little Courvoisier. What is that? What was that guy? The Ladies' Man. You remember that movie?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
yes.
that wasn't a big. That was not a big hit as far as movies go.
SNL movies are hit or miss. Alright, let's see what's going on in here. I don't know if you guys can see this.
So basically,
Symbol.
with the RC kits, what they do is they list out things that they think you'll need, right? So a box cutter, we have the X-Acto, various tools, which we have all of up there, some scissors, some wire snips, and some pliers, which I showed you the pliers. I don't have any wire snips, but we've got enough scissors and things to cut with. that we should be good. And then they will go through and they'll tell you, wow, they list a whole bunch of different icons. So these are, and Jackie, I will tell you that Axial normally has really good instructions. I think some people said the instructions are a little different this time. So we'll see what we get into. But I'll come around to this side. So they're just listing out random things. And sure, free movement, they've got these like icons that you're supposed to remember all this stuff. But I suspect that if you just start doing things, it will happen.
So this is trying to tell me that it doesn't come with the remote, or this and this?
Correct. Yeah, needed to complete are those parts, which we have some of those. I don't have a specific radio picked out for you or a battery. We haven't selected a motor, servo, speed control, all that stuff, which you don't even necessarily know what some of this stuff will be, but that's okay, because all we're trying to build right now is what's in the box. What's in the box? There you go.
All right.
A1. Nice.
So here's
So
my
hand me
A
those
bag.
stickers. I'm going to set those aside because I know those will be the very last thing that gets done, and I don't want them to get, anything that you need out of the way, you just tell me. I'm here for
Hi.
moral support.
A bag.
Hi, wife.
It doesn't have a bag number. B bag. All right. B bag. Bag A. Here we go.
Hey. Sorry, I'm taking over. Here. I'm gonna sit back here now. I'm always out of the room. If you need anything, you let me know.
Okie dokie.
Hot cocoa?
Do you have hot cocoa?
Yeah.
That might be too much sugar for me today, though.
Maybe we should wait until you get a little ways in it. That way you don't, if you get the sugar crash, it comes later.
Right. Alright, I'm bag A1 right now. Ta-da! Can I use that thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Anything up there is available for whatever you want, however you want to do it. It doesn't have to be pretty, whatever.
Yes, it does.
Hey, Eric, since you're watching, how's the exposure on the Workbench camera? Is it too light or is it okay? Actually, anyone can answer that, I guess. Because on our monitors, it looks like it's a little overexposed, but I know, and it seems like needs to be an in-between setting for us, but whatever. If anybody thinks the video needs to be a little bit less exposed, let me know. But if it looks good, then we're good. I keep saying I'm going to let you do this. Okay, I'm going to be back here. I'm doing things on my own.
Yeah, you do that.
Okay, my own things.
Okay, this is kind of interesting.
Remember, if you've got questions, feel free to ask.
Red lock, is that?
Do you need third lock?
It's
cancel.
right
Okay,
here.
sorry.
But, okay. I think this might be backwards. Well, I think these might be combined.
What's that?
Because look, there's a spool right here on A1.
Right.
But this is A1, and the spool's in A2.
Yeah.
So do I open them both?
Well, I think you have to open it because you have to get to the spool. Right. We don't need these, so we'll just get these out of the way.
Spool
Oh, yeah.
at last. Oh, thank you. Alright. I'm pretty particular about getting organized.
Well, that's okay, because generally that will benefit you later. said they think it's a little bright but still clear. So let's see. We'll tweak this. Just turn that up. Just turn it down. And lower the lights just a hair. Let's see if that's better.
Okie dokie.
Yes, it also depends on where the camera is. Yes.
2 8s. Okay. So what does this thread lock do?
Thread lock?
Mhm.
So, thread lock, for better or worse, makes it incredibly difficult for screws to come out. So, in applications where parts are vibrating or moving a lot, sometimes you want to use a little bit of thread lock because it will kind of glue the screw in place.
Too little.
Yeah. I think you want that. Nope, one left. That's my guess.
That's pretty good.
So sometimes thread lock is great because it helps stop your stuff from coming apart. But sometimes you don't want to use thread lock because if something breaks, then you just can't get it apart at all.
So should I put the thread lock in here?
You can put a little drop of it there. Just make sure you're looking at your instructions as far as which direction everything goes.
Yes. Yeah, this guy like this.
Right?
That guy right there.
Yeah.
And then this guy. Oh, I see the gear goes backwards. Good thing I didn't lock it yet.
That's right.
Okay. You still see?
Oh yeah, no, you're perfect.
Do I have to cut this? I think I do.
Possibly. And you just want the slightest, tiniest little bit. It's a very I mean, if you put too much, it's not going to destroy anything. You know, but.
I ruined it.
What?
I ruined it already.
No.
Just scooch like this. Okie dokie. So these are my 2x8s.
Could be.
There we go. How tight should I tighten these?
I usually find that I like to put all of them in a little bit and then crank them down. They are very tiny, so you don't want to make them ungodly tight. And since you do have Loctite in there, they should hold themselves in place. So snug, but you don't need to summon Godzilla or anything like that.
I can do that.
Hi Sean, I don't think we're having a giveaway for this particular video. This is just to help Jackie get comfortable with building RCs and become comfortable with our little studio we have set up, and some fun for people that are fans of the CAPRA or that might be interested in knowing, hey, what would it be like if I gave my completely inexperienced friend or kid or whatever a CAPRA to just go ahead and knock out. So that's why we're doing this. Having said that, at the end of the video series, maybe we'll do some sort of giveaway. I don't know how long it's actually going to take her to put the whole vehicle together, so we're just going to start today, see how far she gets, and we're going to just keep going until she's done. Not all in one day. I mean, we'll have multiple days of it if need be. And then all of this will, as usual, get ported up to YouTube for people to check out. Having said that, at any given point in time, yeah, maybe we'll get crazy and give something away. I don't know. Because we do like to do that sometimes.
Black grease is up next.
You.
Are there different colors of grease? Is that a thing?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times it just depends on what the grease is. Because you have different applications of grease.
I'm going to need these 4. I'm going to need 5 by 11 by 4. Which I think is one of these guys. And also these guys. Can you see?
Yeah, you're good.
Okey-dokey.
Like I said, well, I guess I could be over here doing this for you. So Francisco says he thinks you'll complete it in under an hour and 30 minutes.
Oh, wow. Cool.
We'll see. I've not put one of these together, so I have no idea.
Interesting. So, let's see what this little logo says.
Okay, yeah. Do it. Probably like insure-free movement.
It's, yes, you're right.
It's almost as if I've done this before. Well, maybe I shouldn't help you at all. That way we get the most realistic
Oh no.
video, right? That's what we could do. What do you guys think? Should I not help her at all? And then if she has a question, she can just ask you guys.
What? You gotta help me.
Right?
I don't
Fair
know.
enough. Okay. I'll help.
What if I get my hands dirty?
Well, there's a rag in here. We prepared for this. Oh, you should have seen what Eric and I did last night.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. There's a rag right here if you need it.
Alright, well, this black grease, do I just coat?
Do whatever the instructions say. What do they say?
It just has a little arrow to the edge.
Well, so if you think about where the gears are going to make contact, that's the spot that I would grease, right? So I'd say you could probably put a glop right in the middle of those teeth, like all the way around. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like you're icing a donut or something.
Oh yeah.
Circle the donut. Yeah, this is what we got into last night. Lovely old disgusting ones. Yes. But someone actually wants them, so we're gonna send them to him.
All right.
I forgot, we're actually supposed to get some items in today. Ooh, I get the eyeball where I put this box.
There's another little thing that I was doing. This is right. Looks like it's bigger. What's that?
I'm gonna put the trash can underneath this for you, but still over here to the right.
Thank you.
Yep. And then are you going going to sit here and take looking over your shoulder, but so that I can scroll down and read Facebook comments to you if and or when they pop up. There's none right now. You're good.
Oh, thank you. Pretty sure I got this on the right direction. Is there a way I can test it?
Look at the picture. I'm so. Why don't you hold it like the picture?
I'm pretty sure that's right. Because this guy is longer in the back.
Right. Okay. So then, it's interesting. So I'm pretty sure that these are high pinion gears. So I think you have it upside down. I don't remember. I feel like they made a high pinion. So probably what should happen is without you having to screw it down, it should just kind of slide together. You can hold it longer there. So I don't need to see it. People see it. Out of focus. Sometimes it just needs to have like something flat out there for a second to help it adjust. There we go.
Nope.
Aha.
Yes. And that looks like it's... Get back here. Oh, I've been slimed. That looks
So,
right.
It looks right, but I think it goes either way. Yeah, pretty sure it's like that.
Yeah, that's not very clear.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just a lot going on in the drawing, but I think it's good that way. Let me borrow these for a second.
Okay.
I'm like 99% positive they made them high pinion gears. Yeah. Yes, it is high pinion.
All right.
Yeah, see, so it should be easy now.
Excellent.
Easy by comparison.
Mm-hmm. Well, the way it snaps in. Oh.
Yeah. Let's see. Comments. That's funny. I just typed a reply to a comment. Francisco, the CAPRA does not include electronics. It is a kit, like an old school kit, where you just pick some stuff yourself. I assume, well, obviously if they come out with an RTR, hence it will have stuff in it, but this is just like a builder's kit almost. By the way, Jackie, when you're done, your hands are going to be ripped.
Nice.
You have huge thumb muscles.
Yes.
You'll be able to curl little mini barbells with your index finger.
Excellent. Having two hands again is the best.
Yeah. That's right. You should tell everyone your injury that you're recovering from.
Y'all, I slipped down some stairs and broke my wrist. And they put me in a full arm cast on the left side. And I'm right-handed, so it wasn't as bad as it could have been, but it was still pretty horrible. And so, it's all fixed now. That's glorious. Alright, A1 and 2. Boom. A3.
Sean says, don't let her forget bearings. Were there bearings that were supposed to go in there that we forgot?
I got it.
You sure?
There's one right here.
Is there one on the inside?
There's one right there. Yeah. And there's one right there. And there's one.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, feels tight.
Good looking out. Okay, A3. I always wondered what these pins did. Okay, are these the same? There. It's too big. Black grease. This dude and this dude.
So Jackie, I think at some point we talked about portal axles, right?
Mhm.
So these are portal axles. So that's why you've got these boxes that go in.
Nice.
So those would be called portal gears.
I feel like these guys. I feel like I forget it. Interesting. So it's telling that like that. Is there different sides?
Oh, maybe. But one side has a pin. Right?
Black grease. Do I grease the outside or?
You're just gonna grease between the two gears, basically.
Okay. Well, I love the way they just snap right in there perfectly.
It's easy to do that with plastic knuckles. You can make them a little bit tighter than they would be in the plastic. You go a little. I'm gonna say it's easy.
So I feel like, is this gonna come through this guy? It looks like it's missing something.
So this shaft right here is going to go into there eventually.
Did I just leave it floating for now?
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Well, it looks like I think your pin dropped out though.
Yes, I'm gonna grease it first.
I want to scoot over to the right here.
Okay.
Sean, we're going to be. I mean, just this, not you.
Oh.
You're fine because your shoulder's not open. That's good. You just want to try to keep hands. That's kind of the fun thing of doing these streaming things is that you're kind of working at an angle almost. You know? Sean, we're going to be doing, I guess, episodes of this. So since we don't know how long this is going to take her to do, I don't know. I think our original plan was probably to stream it, let's say an hour at a time. That way she can take a break. Since she's got a tender wrist, it can have some rest, all of that kind of stuff. Get some water, all those things. So I don't know. But we're going to try to stream the entire thing. I doubt that she's... let's see. I doubt that she's going to finish it today. So my plan is probably for her to just do this in the afternoons when she's got time, and we'll see.
There, that makes sense.
Booyah.
Ta-da!
And you have Baron Zoom over there.
Yes.
I didn't watch you do everything. Okay. Well, where is the Baron Zoom? Ruh-roh. Braggy? Oh, they go in here. Okay, now we're good. Should have more faith in you.
That's right.
It's my bad.
I think these are too big. I think they're the same. Go back to your home.
There we go.
So is there any reason why this is so textured, or is that just fancy stuff?
It's fancy stuff. So they're trying to make it look scaled, right? So a lot of times with these things in the one-to-one world, you'll have transfer cases and things like that have metal ribbing for increased strength, and so that's kind of what that weapon looks like to me. I didn't really get a good look at it, but that's what it looks like to me. Yeah, it's just like to make it look like a one-to-one part. I don't know that those are modeled after any exact one-to-one portals, but that would be the plan, I assume. I feel like they did a good job on the axle housings. I'm not sure how I feel about the molded C's, so this part. Hopefully they stand up to a lot of abuse. The material, I think some people were saying it's improved, new and improved, which I never understood that. How can something be new and improved? Isn't it just new or improved?
That's true.
I don't know.
It's just marketing.
Oh, I know. Well, that means whenever we do episode 2 of this, we can market it as new and improved, because it's episode 2. Although, what if it's not better?
But it'll be better because we had to get all the
bugs out?
all bugs out.
No, there's bugs every time. Every time we do streaming, there's probably going to be some sort of buggery. I was sitting here wondering why when we had the selfie cam on, we didn't show up as well, and then I just realized I didn't have all of the background lights on. Got some of them. Maybe that's it. Or maybe it's because I set up the streaming for Eric and I, and you've actually got color in your skin, and I'm just pale as a sheet of paper. It's a little bit of play. So you know the shim kit that we sell, right? So we probably could shim that to take some of the noise out. Oh, no, that's what it is. Yeah, that's moving because it's loose. Once you put that shaft in, it will hold it in place.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Now, if this is moving side to side, there's a little bit of play. Not much. But that we could actually take out with the shims. I believe we have shims that fit this. I'm not positive. I have to check. Remember, if at any point you need to take a break, just let me know.
Okay, thanks.
I don't want to overdo the wrist.
Oh, but I'm right-handed.
I know, we're just saying.
No, the doctor cleared me for yoga, so.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
But does yoga involve tightening a whole bunch of little tiny screws?
Oh, but I'm not doing that left-handed.
Yeah.
But I could if I wanted to. That's
okay, well, that's the
important.
important part. Sean wants to know if this is your rig to run when it is built. Yes, Sean. The plan is going to be, because Jackie has, in addition to never having built an RC, she has never, we haven't had you drive one yet, right?
Not one of the scale kind, but I've had, you know, different RC.
I think you need bigger tools.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Okay, she's never driven a scale crawler before. So yes, the goal is going to be for her to assemble this completely, do whatever modifications we come across, all of that kind of stuff. She already picked out some beadlock rings that she wants, so we will be assembling this kit in its completion. So all of these stock wheels, tires, all of that, let her drive it, and then we will come back and we will have some more Jackie Builds series where she'll do some wheels and whatever else. She picked out some beadlock rings that were super limited, I guess. Limited run, there's only 8 of them, and she's got 4.
It's the copper ones.
Yeah, they're kind of a coppery color. That's not the color we asked for, but it is what it is. Actually, they look good, but...
It's like a shiny penny.
Yeah. Where are those things? Those floating around here somewhere?
You put them up on the top shelf.
I think I got them. I got them right here. I don't know that these are actually good. I mean, because of the way we have the exposure and the lighting and everything in here, I don't know. You know what? I know how to fix that. Well, I'm going to feel like Vanna White here in a second. Where's my little...
Better put your wig on.
Maybe this will help.
Oh yeah, instead of the white.
Yeah, you still get reflection and stuff though. But anyway, so these are the rings that she picked out. They're kind of a coppery, bronzy, I don't know, something. But she'll be putting those on the truck whenever she picks out wheels and all that stuff. Like I said, we're going to put these stock wheels together, or I guess put the tires on there, see how that goes. But this will be for a project for another day. Yeah.
Did I? No.
What's up?
What? Oh, nothing. I thought that I forgot something that I didn't. Almost done.
Just holla.
Okay. A3. Okay, let's see here.
Sean wants to know, what kind of RCs have you run before, and how long have you been in the hobby?
I am brand new to the hobby. I've done toys, basically. But I've known people that have had full-size Jeeps, and like rock crawling seems pretty intense and fun.
Yeah, when I hired Jackie, I did not have any prerequisites for her to have RC knowledge. I just wanted someone intelligent, and she fit the bill.
Thanks.
She only seems mildly crazy. Wahaha. Have I taken a look into the C2X? No, have not. It's funny, sometimes I forget to watch which screen I'm watching and then I get confused by When we have a computer over here, I can look into the C2X. I don't know what the C2X is. What's the C2X?
Sounds fancy though.
Oh, the RC4 drug code. Brain dead. Too many acronyms. Hey Francisco, I have not looked into a C2X before, but I'm actually looking at it on a different screen right now. So it looks like the C2X, from what I can tell, ladder frame, that's good. It looks like maybe they've lightened it by making it narrower, which would be fine. I see some bigger wheel wells, I'm guessing to fit class 2 tires. Plastic housings, which is going to slide over rocks a little bit easier. Yeah, it's a nice looking truck. I mean, that Mojave body, which I guess this is a derivative of, is a nice body. But we still need to finish our TF2 before we can move on to a C2X. But I suspect eventually we'll end up with one of those two. Hopefully the housings last on those things. On the C2X. Hopefully they last on this also. Hopefully Jackie doesn't just smash it straight into a wall.
Jackie smash!
No, bad Jackie. Kill him. So you don't want to go... Well, I haven't actually looked. Did they have like kingpin bushings or anything down in it? No, okay, yeah. Yeah, you don't need to go Godzilla tight on that because you want it to have a little bit of slip, right? So you want it to be free moving. Does it feel loose?
Not loose, but kind of.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it'll wear in too. But I guess what I'm saying is you don't have to make that part insanely tight. I'm actually kind of, while you're assembling that, I'm somewhat surprised that that's how they chose to do it, because there's no bushing in there. So I guess from an experienced person's point of view, looking at this, you know, we've got these housings, right, which they look great. Since there's no sleeve or anything installed in this C, I mean, that's going to wear out. I'm assuming that can't talk. I'm assuming a replacement axle housing isn't going to be insanely expensive, but with other vehicles, what they've usually done is they'll have that little hat bushing. We sell the flange bushings, right? Mm-hmm. So the flange bushings will usually fit in there in between that, so that the screw is rubbing on the flange bushing and not metal on plastic. Mm-hmm. Because between those two, the first thing that's going to wear out is going to be the plastic. Well, in this case, the plastic is part of the C, and the C is part of the housing. So it's like as soon as this becomes loose and wears out, we're gonna have to replace the whole housing.
That makes sense.
That's a little bit of a bummer. But to get this probably to a reasonable price point, I'm sure some things like that will happen. Yeah, I program this.
What?
Maybe. There you go.
Yeah. Just want everybody to know that I live full time in an RV, and I used to ride an Aprilia, and so I'm interested in wrenching. I just need to put the time.
Are the instructions in your way?
No.
Just want to make sure you got what you need. I could probably set up like a little. That's what we need for kit. You know what? That's what we need for kit building. We need. I didn't even say what it was.
What is
That's, yeah, I just like to throw that out there, as if to let people know I'm about to say something. Francisco says he thinks you have the portal on the wrong side. I agree with him.
Oh, okay, thanks. Happy to tell.
I wasn't paying attention. So, remember as we were going through all the components of the vehicle, right? So the axle is going to sit like this. The drive shaft is going to connect right here and go back that way. Your steering linkage is going to connect to this, which I believe, unless I'm mistaken, double checking the instructions, I don't think. So some vehicles put the steering linkage behind the axle, and then they call it behind the axle steering. I don't think CAPRA, yeah, so the CAPRA, the steering linkage, goes in the front, so it's on the other side of that. So this guy will go on that side, that guy goes on this side.
Okay.
It's probably just one of those things with looking at the instructions that, and I'm not watching you build it. So,
Yeah, like,
did I go back too far? Where did
no,
I
this
go?
is perfect. See, this is what I was looking at. Like,
Yeah, it's
these
just hard to
two
tell
bolts,
in the pictures because there's so much detail.
Yeah.
Um,
and then the longer side on the bottom.
Yep, no, you got the long side. You got that part right. It just needs to flip over to the other side. That's okay.
Well, then these instruction flyers.
Thank you for letting us know, Francisco.
These two in the front,
Right. Yeah.
and these two in the front.
So look at this, the way the instructions are. Compare it, right? Do you see? So all these things and this are on that side.
That's the part that I missed. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
You're good. It's okay. These things happen. If it makes you feel any better, which this may or may not make sense to you, but Francisco says if he was building it, he would have done the same thing. So the very first RC that I got was an RC10 gold pan. I have one around here somewhere. It's not the original one that I got when I was a kid, but when I assembled it, so really, really, really old electronics didn't have the printed circuit boards and all that kind of stuff. It was a mechanical speed control. So there was an arm that sat on a servo, and when you gave it gas, or not gave it gas, well, yeah, I guess when you pulled the throttle, the servo arm would move, and the servo arm had it would make a connection on like a resistor. So the further the arm moved, the more power it would give. And I got that RC10 all assembled by myself when I was in like 7th grade or whatever. And I could only get it to go in reverse, and I was so confused. So I brought the instructions to my dad the engineer, and he's looking at the instructions, and he was all confused. And then he like starts, looking at wiring diagram. I don't know what he was doing. But after about an hour, he came back and he told me that, yeah, that's because it only goes one way.
What?
I was like, what? So back then, like the racing buggies and all that stuff, you couldn't reverse. You just go. You just head forward. So that speed control, which, where is it? I still have it. Now I'm not concerned. Now I want to know if I still have it somewhere. So anyway, that speed control would only go in one direction. And so it took myself and my dad both several hours to figure out what I had done wrong. And then we figured it out, and then I realized, man, I need to get an electronic speed control. Because they had them at the time that I started building them. They had electronic speed controls. My friend Ben actually had the same vehicle. We put an electronic speed control in it, and whatever. Good times. But I felt really silly. But it was okay, because hey, I was in like 7th or 8th grade. My dad, the 40-something-year-old man, the engineer, probably felt extremely silly because it took him so long to figure out what the problem was.
But he didn't quit.
No, he didn't quit. That's not in our genetics, for better or worse. 51 minutes in. Woo!
Alright, you little dude.
You can probably spin the portal shaft as well, yeah.
Neat.
It should go in there.
It's just a little fussy. That's part A. Ta-da!
Sweet!
Beautiful. Alrighty. Part B.
Good, keep going.
Yeah, let's get through part B.
Alright, you need any water? Stretch break.
No, I'm okay.
Alright.
Yeah, part B's little.
What's that?
Part B looks kind of little. But 1, 2, and 3, and that's it.
Well, since you've already done the front, you'll have a better idea of how the rear goes together. The front's more complicated. The front has to be good. Oh, you know what? That's funny. I was talking about that's what we need to do for these builds. And then I never finished my thought, did
Yeah,
I?
what the heck?
So we need to put like a little shelf up there, like for when people read music.
Oh, yeah.
So you can have a little easel over there with the instructions, so you can flip through them and not have them have to be in your way. But we're gonna have more stuff hanging down up here. It's gonna be crazy.
I have a little book stand.
I wonder where the best place to put that would be. We have to move tools over. I thought about putting it over there, but then you're kind of reaching in front of the camera, and the light gives you opportunity to smack the microphone. I bet I could move the mic over that way, and then put it right there. That would probably be a good spot. I have to look into that.
glad I just have enough experience to be able to tell the screws apart.
Yep.
Say I didn't used to.
Nope.
It's gonna kill me.
What's that? If you do get to a spot where they have some screws that are similar length, and you need to figure out what is what, we do have the caliper. You know how these work?
Yes.
Okay, good. Put that up there in case you need it.
Okie dokie.
So front axle took just under an hour, but that was also opening everything, getting set up. So my guess, based off of that, is that this is going to take a total of 4 hours. That's my guess. Because you'll have the front axle, the rear axle, transmission, shocks, and whatever we have to do with the body. Which is fine. Eric and I built an SEX-10-2 when that came out, and I feel like that took us forever. There may have been adult beverages involved.
It happens.
Are you feeling more confident now with what you're doing? That you successfully built the function?
Yeah, because now I know what the heck they're talking about.
That's right.
They don't want me to put the thread lock on this side.
On what? With the previous page, maybe?
Oh. Good at me, Captain.
They've got it, right?
Yeah. All right.
So for anybody that tuned in last night, when we were putting together our SSD axle housing for our original SEX-10, little bit of scale evolution for you. So this was the original axle, and then now you've got this portal. So you can see a whopping difference in ground clearance as well. So this would be down here on this. Yeah.
Nice.
Somewhere around like that. And it looks a lot more realistic. But at the time that those, I guess the AX10 came out, so the AX10 was Axial's just competition crawler. And that came out before the SCX10. And they weren't really concerned about it looking super realistic, but I feel like they still looked more realistic than the other things that were available at the time, which was basically what, Wheelie King axles and yeah. What else were we running back then? Having a lapse of brain coverage. Sean says you're going quickly for the first time.
Why, thank you.
Chair.
There you go.
Sorry, I had to take care of things. Anyway, those SCX10 axles were much more realistic looking than the other things that we had, which were Wheelie Kings and TLT axles.
What does TLT stand for?
You know, I don't know. Does anybody know what TLT stands for? If I knew, at some point I forgot. I think that was just like, that may have just been the name. It's a Tamiya, or Tamiya, I guess. It depends on how you want to pronounce it. I don't know what it stands for. Let's see what the interweb says.
Consult the Google.
I don't know if it's even going to tell us. Oh, it does. Okay. Tamiya Little Truck.
Oh, cute.
So it's interesting that people will say Tamiya or Tamiya. I don't know what's correct. They'll say Tamiya or Tamiya, and then they'll say TLT. So you're really saying Tamiya, Little Truck. But yeah, nobody thinks about that. Like I said, too many acronyms. Oh, see, yep, you are correct, Francisco. That is what it was.
I would say Tamiya.
Don't know.
Because Maya would be M-Y.
I don't know. Tamiya. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that makes more sense. Tamiya. But you know, people pronounce things differently. I'm from Texas. I'll say it however I want.
What?
I mean, I lived in a town called Manor,
Yeah.
spelled M-A-N-O-R. How many other? Everybody in every city pronounces things differently, and they've got that one suburb or street name that
Manshack.
right that lets you know if someone is actually from around there because they either say it the way it looks or they say it the way that the locals say it.
Guadalupe.
What you say?
Guadalupe.
Yes.
I tell you that one time in culinary school, I asked my chef, what's the difference between chowder and chowda?
I think you told me this, but they don't know.
Everybody laughed at me. They said I was foolish, but my chef was from Boston, so he thought it was a great question. Apparently, chowder is cream-based, and chowda is tomato-based.
Yeah, I know you told me that story because when you told me that last time, it made me think of the same thing I'm thinking of right now, which is the Ace Ventura movie when he goes to see some guy and the password is New England clam chowder.
Yeah.
And the guy says, is that the red or is that the white? And he's just like, I never remember that. And he guesses one and he gets it right, whatever.
I think I might have switched them.
Switch what?
Chowda sounds more Boston-y.
Oh. I was like, the Axles? What do you mean? You didn't switch anything.
I gotta check on them. Okay, so I am on B. That's right. Get that grease going. Dougie. B3. Oh.
You're good. I think actually having the mat is probably a good thing because then we can put it kind of centered on the camera and then we'll know where we're supposed to be.
Nice. Okay. This little dude goes this way. What's in this stuff?
Within grease?
Oh, this kind of grease. But I just greased them already. Yes.
Gear grease? I don't know.
You ever seen
some sort of scientific names of stuff? That's mostly baby dolphin tears. I believe. Yeah, I don't know.
Have you ever seen ferrofluid? It's magnetic liquid that they use to pump fuel in the space station.
Maybe I've seen some sort of YouTube video with that in there.
It's pretty cool.
One of the days that I got YouTubed, which is basically means I went down the rabbit hole.
Well, these sculptures with it where you can time magnetic impulses to create like spikes, basically.
Yeah.
And depending on the shape of the sculpture, you can do different kinds of stuff with it. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Well, I have an extra. That dude.
Did you maybe not put the bearing on the other side? Did you put the cap on the other side? No, there you go. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's you're gonna want to have that in there. That'll be important. Otherwise, we'll end up with like 3-wheel drive.
It seems like there should be a bearing here.
But there's a bearing in that end cap, so that's what's gonna hold it in place. Spin that shaft to get it to drop down here.
Boom.
There we go. Now boom.
Boom!
Scott says CAPRA, and Jeff says hello, kids.
Hello.
Welcome to the show, guys. I don't know if I need to reiterate multiple times that this is Jackie building a CAPRA. Jackie being our 100%, no, 98% inexperienced with RC stuff. Except for she works here. But she's never built a kit, and she's never driven a crawler. So this is her opportunity to educate herself by putting a truck together. We thought it would be fun for people to watch in case they are planning on buying one of these for their kids for Christmas, and they were just going to let them go. Of course, I guess if your kid has put together another vehicle, you know, they'll have a leg up on Jackie, because they'll have that experience. Those are all M2.5 by 10s. Okay. Good to know.
Glorious.
Woohoo! The front axle took you about, what did we say, like 55 minutes? So this one so far has taken me only 20.
Nice.
A couple less moving parts, but, and you have the experience of making the first one, so. Oh, you get to build shocks next.
Ooh.
That would be fun. I suspect building the shocks may require us to go get some paper towels. So I'm actually going to go get some paper towels.
Got it. It's easier to put the screw on the tip first. Nice to have a little magnet.
Oh yeah, I didn't mention for the Facebook stuff, right? So remember I said the comments are up there, but this will not scroll down automatically. So if someone makes a comment, you have to come over here and scroll down so you can see it.
Okay.
And you'll see the little scroll bar move, but it doesn't like ding or anything like that to let you know there's a comment. So. Just one of those things. It's interesting to me how this is like a different color than that.
That one's warmer.
Yeah. I wonder if that's more of the monitor. Maximum broadcast length for Facebook Live is 8 hours.
Wow.
Oh, man. There's not a whole lot of anything I want to watch for 8 hours. When I say not a whole lot of anything, I mean like nothing.
Nothing at all. I don't know, somebody took a long video of their fireplace, and so that's pretty nice on the holidays if you don't have a fireplace.
Yeah. But you're not really watching it. I mean, you're looking at it every now and then. I don't know that I want to actively engage watching anything for 8 hours.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Although there was one day where we watched all of the Lord of the Rings movies, I
yeah.
think.
Mm-hmm.
And those things are what? At least 2.5 hours long. So that's close to 8 hours.
That's
But
a lot of sit.
I feel like, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, I'm going to guess that the Lord of the Rings movies, all three of them combined, had a slightly higher budget than most people that are doing Facebook live streams.
Maybe a little bit.
Just a bit.
So that's A and B. Boom. Okie dokie. Part C. You want to keep going?
Hey, that's up to you. You're the builder. I'm just here for technical support and maybe remote support, hot chocolate, whatever. Did you want hot chocolate?
Is that a thing that we can do?
Mm-hmm.
I'll never say no to chocolate.
Yes, that is the thing we can do.
That's what the paper towels are for.
Yeah. That looks like a mysterious bag of lube. Does that have like a cap on it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I couldn't see the screw cap on there, and I thought it was just an open. Thought it was gonna be like, you know, when you get super glue, and you open it, and it's just never, you know, it's like use it that day because otherwise. Now that's different from the stuff that we sell, but the Crazy Glue brand or whatever that has those. Yeah, whatever.
That stuff's impossible.
Or Elmer's Glue does that too, I guess. Okay, well I'm gonna go make you hot chocolate. So I will tell you that. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna tell you anything.
Oh, jeez.
You'll get through it. I'll be right back.
Bag D. So we are on C. Let's see what this says. C times 4. So, interesting. So am I supposed to fill this thing all the way up with the grease? Is it hydraulic fluid? How do Patrick and I know each other? He put an ad on Craigslist for a part-time job that I responded to because we live pretty close to each other, and I was just getting over my broken wrist. So I'm a culinary school graduate, and it's impossible to work in restaurants with one hand. So we met at a coffee shop, and then I started pretty soon after that. I think it's been just over 6 months. Oh boy, these things are tiny. He thinks filling orders is the only reason I have any know-how with this stuff at all. So it's been nice to have some time with these products so that I am not so green. So, let's see. Okay, those are already on. That makes sense. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out who these three are. And here's my boggle right now. I think these are these, but there's not enough to do all four, so I gotta figure out what I'm supposed to be doing because Patrick has left me. And that's all the pieces for this guy.
I returned with your cocoa.
Fabulous. So I'm trying to figure out what these little dudes are.
Did you ask the public?
I did. New comment. Two clear rubber seals. That's gotta be these guys.
They could also be black, just depends on what Axial uses. Yeah.
So there's only...
So what are we looking for?
Maybe it's... Oh, what exactly those three are? So maybe it's just one of these, and one of these? Because there's...
Well, these two are the same, right? Because that part number is... that's split. Let's see. And then it also lists some stuff over here.
Okay, so...
3 by 1 by 0.9. I'm guessing that's those.
I'm thinking like... Boom, boom, boom? piece has to be this guy because there's little
So
nubs in
I'm
it.
gonna hold this up just in case anybody else at some point. So what we're trying to figure out is, yeah, it'll focus. You can't be too close. There you go. Oh, come on. Bring it more towards the camera a little. I don't know. Oh, it's like it gets it for a second. Maybe it's because it's angled too much. Anyway, I'm thinking that what these two things are, I think those were the clear ones, and because this is pointing to these two, even though it doesn't say what that is, it seems like they came off the same parts tree, so they're going to be the same color. So that one part is the black part, which we've already assembled. So I'm thinking this inner thing is this guy, right? Yeah, just like that. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how hot the hot chocolate is. So it might be scalding hot, or it could be like Goldilocks. I don't know.
Boiling hot.
Hopefully it's not boiling hot. That would be, we don't want that.
Now, am I supposed to shove this in there?
Yes. So what I usually use for those are those little pliers.
These?
Yep. And then I just kind of pinch it together. What's up?
I don't want to break it.
No, I mean they're supposed to be tight, so, and sometimes it's easier to do it from one side or the other. Let's see. Just put it in there and try to wrangle it on. There you go.
Oh, okay.
I mean, when you squeeze it, it'll help it start, but then you have to wrangle it on because it's longer, you know. You're now a rod end wrangler.
Ooh.
You've earned a badge,
Yay.
an achievement. I don't know what, like an Xbox Live achievement, something, whatever. Minecraft achievements, all those things. Oh, my kids and their games. Yeah, so just start to pinch it together, and then you kind of have to hold it and pull down.
Uh-huh. Gotcha.
Getting it apart is even less fun.
Oh, no.
No. Sometimes it's just...
Uh-huh.
Okay. Anytime I point like that, that's what it means. I'm not pointing at you. I know it's hard to remember.
I'm just gonna
Load them up.
assembly line these.
Take a break and go. Just...
Now I'm in the zone. Look what you've
Sean
done.
says you're doing well. He never builds his own rigs. He would like to try one day, but too much other stuff to do.
Well, I hope this video gives you some inspiration.
Yeah, I know at some point I remember reading there were some perhaps mild inaccuracies in the instructions. I don't remember what they were.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. But
We're gonna find out.
we will cross that bridge when we get to it.
Okey-dokey.
Yep. So you will need the pliers to get those on. So you'll want to kind of start it. Yeah. We do have. I have like a bajillion of those.
Okay.
So if one shoots across the room, as long as it doesn't stab you in the eye, we'll place it.
Slippery little thing.
Yes. And then once you get it started, you can kind of use the pliers to like go around the whole thing and clamp it down, if that makes sense. Eclipse.
Oh, so tiny.
So fun. Sean said he's staring at the hot chocolate.
Oh my god.
Go make some, Sean. Getting the second one on may actually be easier because you can kind of sit it on top of that black thing and rest there. Now you can probably take the pliers. Yep. Stop talking.
You gonna stand a chance? Eclipse.
Nice.
Clip.
You burn some hot chocolate. Yeah, have
Yes.
some. Make sure it's not too hot before you take a huge swig. You know, it is steamy, but.
Marshmallow. Delightful. It's pretty hot.
It's pretty hot.
Give it 2 more minutes.
Okay. Time to build more shock internals. Leon says, "Nice hat, Patrick." Leon, that's not my hat. That's actually Jackie, who is building the CAPRA for us. It was faster, huh? See? Getting better. You only have 75 more to go.
Wow.
It's a reference from a movie, in case anyone wants to take a guess at what it was. Oh, no worries, Leon. I know you just joined, but this is Jackie that has what did we say before? 2% experience with RC vehicles. She's never built one, and she's never driven a crawler, so thought it would be fun to have her go through the latest truck, put it together, and see what kind of problems she runs into. So far, she's doing an excellent job.
See if I can just. Nope.
So,
I need something to put my feet in.
footrest. Well, there's the thing on the stool, but you mean out in front of you? Just for rotational whateverness? With this. I'll move the trash can over here. Sorry. Oh, that was you jumping. Did you lose one?
I got it. Whew. Thanks.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
It's in balance. I feel like with my feet on the chair, like I'm gonna tip forward.
Yeah, the stool is not built for long-term whateverness, I think. Whateverness. just sitting. I mean, it's squishy enough. There's just something about, I don't know. It's just like a bar stool basically with a back. It's not like molded or contoured or anything.
So we just put in an extra one just in case.
What's that?
Put.
Probably.
Okay.
Usually I feel like they give you a whole stack of extra one. But, you know.
I feel like I'm supposed to put this a different way.
Mm-hmm. There you go. So you see how that works?
No. Trying to figure that out. Okay.
So
I gotta put in the grease at some point.
cool. Yeah. So here, let me see. So you got your shock body, right? And then you have this little part, and it's got little holes in it. So that controls how much fluid this thing will allow to pass, or air, but usually fluid. So when it's completely open, all the fluid is up on the top, and when you hit a bump or whatever, it compresses a little. And depending upon the thickness of the oil and the size of those little holes, determines how much resistance you get, how hard it is for this to go up and down, right?
How much oil do I put in it?
Yeah, they don't tell you that, do they? So, do they have, let me see, we have diaphragms in here? No, these are just plastic caps.
These guys.
Okay, so that's O-rings. So some of the older ones, the shocks used to have like a little plastic diaphragm that you'd put on here, and you'd kind of fill up the oil close to that. And to answer your question, how much do you put in here? There's not, it depends. People like to do different things. So some people will pull the shock all the way down and fill it up with oil, but then as this compresses, you have to keep in mind the shaft is going up into there and taking up volume. So the best way to do it, in theory, would be to have this pretty much compressed and then pour the oil in, but you'd never actually get it to go down through the little holes, right? So what I usually do is I just open it up, I put a little bit in there, and then I kind of just very, very slowly compress it. And you go back and forth a couple times, and you know, you can always add more, you can always pour some out. If you have too much, then as this compresses and the shaft goes in there, it will not be able to compress anymore, right? And then you'll probably have oil blow out the bottom and it'll leak. And I think that's why a lot of people think a lot of different shocks leak. They just have too much oil in there. So I would probably fill it up to about here, just to start, because we can always go back and add more.
Finish getting these dudes set up before I break open the grease.
So they actually sell specific shock shaft pliers to get around what you are trying to do right now, which is get that thing threaded in there. Since there's no oil in that shaft, you'll probably be okay. But if you do need to clamp down on that, you can use the pliers. We also have those little mini vice grips that you can clamp down on it with so that it won't spin. The potential downside to using regular little pliers like that is that when you're holding it, if it does slip, you can scratch the metal. And then you have a scratch in the metal, and when it goes through those little seals, it'll catch on the seals and eventually it tears them up. Then you definitely get leaky shocks. So if you can manage to get that on there without using a tool, that's great. If we have to use a tool though, we can.
It's happening.
It's happening? There you go. Persistence.
Crooked.
It'll straighten out.
Here, can you use it too?
That'll probably make it slip more. So if you do want to use a tool, it's best to grab it as close to the rod end as you can without going into the threads. And the reason that I say that is because once you put these little caps on there, it's going to stop the shaft from going like too far into the seals. anybody else heard that, but that's my suggestion. Sometimes shock shafts come with like flat spots down near the broad end, and then like I said, they do make shock shaft pliers. I just don't have any. I've never needed any. Maybe I'm lucky. I don't know, or stubborn. One or the other. It's still spinning?
No, can you try?
Yeah. So him and those little guys. So this is what I would suggest trying. So as low as you can get down here, pinch it, and I'm just gonna squeeze with like everything I have, see if you can get that to thread on. Oops, slipped. Scare you? Oh,
Yes.
Slipped again. That's okay. It slips. But that's why I'm grabbing it down low, because this has the least opportunity to go into the body. Yeah, just go as far as you can. Or is it spinning? Okay.
I should have put the little balls in after.
Nah. Can't tell if it's... Yeah, I think it's spinning. Okay, we're good. Yeah, see, so it spins and it wears into it just a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. Once we put this all together, that part is usually not going to go all the way into the shock body, and if it does, it's probably not going to go that far. So, there you go, there's one.
Boom. All right. So
I would probably assembly line and get all of that done like that first.
Yep.
It's just my thoughts. We are coming up on an hour and 45 minutes into Jackie Builds a Capra. So we will stop broadcasting for those of you that are watching. We will, let's see, that'll be about 15 minutes from now. We're going to stop at 2 hours. And that's because it's Miller time in 15 minutes. So we have to stop broadcasting. And that way Jackie gets a break. But we will absolutely 100% be continuing this tomorrow at about the same time. So we also have these we can try. Since they're a little bit wider, and they get a little bit better grip on the shaft. I guess I really need to get some shock pliers. Actually, maybe I have some. Maybe that'd be funny if I have some and I just never use them. Funny but not surprising.
right, that's so something you would do.
There. Well, and I don't remember that actually being specifically listed on the instructions, so for a new person that's going to build a kit, they may not have those anyway. Nope, I don't have any. But you know what? That's actually something we could probably have made. Ooh, all the blood just rushed to my head going down there. Man down.
This thing does not want to thread.
Yeah, these are pretty tough. Actually, you know what? I have an idea. Let me see if this makes it easier for you. So, I'm pretty sure that the shafts, just double check, 3 mil. Yep. So what we can do is take a good old regular screw out of our bin, right?
Yes, excellent.
Drop one.
Yeah, put that back.
Don't know.
It's gone forever.
And I'll find it. Don't worry about it. So this is what I'm going to suggest you do, and I'll leave it here for you to do. That way we know if it works. Is thread the screw into the rod end a little bit first, because that'll be easier to get started than the spinning shock shaft. And that way you'll kind of have some threads in there. It's still not going to be easy, but it should make it a little easier. And I will find this. What was it that you lost?
One of these guys.
Not a set screw. It's probably from last night. How far did it go?
Right.
Did you see which direction it went?
It should have gone forward.
Should have. That definitely means it went backwards. That's how things get lost. They never go where you think they would. You do it in the garbage, that would be funny. It shouldn't be funny at all. But still laugh. How high up was it? Like, do you think it hit the floor, or is it up in the shell somewhere?
It sounded like it hit the wall.
The wall? Oh my.
So I was trying to catch it. You don't stand a chance, you tiny rascal. So very difficult.
Did you get the screw thread? Or is that what you did?
This is my second one. But still doesn't like it.
Years from now, we'll find this rod end. Things always bounce so much further than I think they will. Does it make you laugh?
Oh!
CAPRA.
Can't stash.
Well, I can't seem to locate that rod end.
Well, that's okay. Let's
in
just
front of us.
do one all the way through, since we're running out of time.
But I will locate it at some point. Plus, I probably honestly have a spare one. So like I have parts, you know. Which chair back?
Oh, sure. This guy's the worst one.
It's gonna make me crazy. I'll look for it later. This. I don't know where this goes.
It's totally resisting.
What's that? You can't even throw the screw in?
Yeah.
Let's see. People talking.
Take that, you.
Got it in? You don't want to strip it out. You just want to get it in there enough that it's going to, hopefully, in theory, make it easier for you to get it started on the shot. Yeah, I'd say just assemble 2 of them. If you can get 2 of them done, that would be good. And then we'll pick up with the other 2 tomorrow. Hopefully by then we'll have that rotted. It's just probably bounced behind something. It may have hit the wall and gone right behind the printer.
True.
Can't get into that while we're on. But almost positive. Somewhere in here, I've got a spare Axial rod.
Oh, I hate you, tiny plastic.
But that's the new and improved material, so it should be more durable. Just harder to get it started. Did you get it started? Same problem?
Yeah.
You think the shaft is spinning?
Yeah.
So try and grab onto them. You know how these work?
Yeah.
So I have to back this off a little bit. Try and grab onto that at the bottom. I just want to make sure that it's super hard to get closed. Is it easy?
Yeah.
Okay, so better. Another thing I sometimes do to help myself is I'll take a black Sharpie and just draw a line on there. That way if it starts spinning, I'll know. Because part of the problem is, like last time it was spinning, I didn't even know it.
That's a good idea. Am I going to? Yeah.
Here, why don't you take the next one, go to the next step, and I'll see if I can handle this. No, you're good. Let's see. I'll do that up here so people can still see it. There's going to be 2 things going on at once. What's going to happen? Madness.
Wait a minute.
No, I mean...
What the heck did I drop?
Oh, I don't know. Did you drop a screw? I was looking for a rod end the whole time.
I know, right?
If only this was on video so that we could see what you're holding. It's okay. Like I said, if we get... I'd leave 2 of the shocks and just assemble 2 of them for now. And we'll start on the other 2 tomorrow whenever we find whatever it was that got dropped. And then we don't know what it was. The fan. Ow. Yeah. Now it's tight. Spin now, punk.
So is that little bit of thread right there okay?
Where?
Or should I try to
I'm
get
gonna tighten that one up too.
Okay.
This one is good to go.
Okay.
There we go.
So we've got all of the rings in here already. Grease unlocked.
So this is preset for the correct tightness for these. So for next time, we can give it a go.
So
Like I said, I'd pull the shaft out all the way. Are these different lengths too? No, just same thing. And I'd fill it up to about like where your index finger is.
like 3/4?
Yeah, 3/4. sure you knew.
I think I went too fast on the end there. I'm an invisible. What do you think?
But so I'm gonna turn this down just a little bit so when we go to put the cap on, right? Because the cap has to thread on that far. So do this, get that down. And no, I think you did good. See, there's gonna be some bubbles in there in the beginning, and you kind of want to work it back and forth to let it get down into those lower seals. But I think that'll be good for now. So you probably could, let's see, probably add a little bit more, maybe, we'll see. Oh, making noises.
Tiny bit more.
A lot of people will just fill them up, loosely put the cap on, and then they'll just compress it, and whatever leaks out, they call it good, and then they tighten it down. That gets messy, and then as much as we drive through dirt and everything, you know, you get dirt everywhere. So that's just one of those things you kind of gotta play with. But before putting the cap on, you can basically compress it and see, is it gonna like blow out a whole lot. It's okay if there's a little bit of error. No, I think that is a good amount. You got your rubber seal in there, right? You ever do that on all that? Leon wants to know, what size are the CAPRA shocks? I don't know, Leon. Once she gets this one assembled, we can measure it. I'm gonna guess they're 110s, maybe 100. What you got?
Let's see.
Oh, they've got like an overflow. Okay. I didn't even realize that. I haven't seen that before. So that essentially means we could have filled it up all the way, then put the cap on, and compressed it, and extra would have come out of there. The other, I guess, benefit to having that is you can probably set the shock to be somewhere in the middle, and that way once you actually seal the system, because you know right now you've screwed that on and the shock is completely extended, so you're going to be fighting air pressure and pressure the whole time it's going up. You know what I mean? You're going to be compressing the air in there because the oil is not really going to compress. So you could probably open this little bleeder and then compress it about halfway. That way there's just less for it to fight. And the way that I say, so I'd take the screw all the way out. And of course this is just, I'm basing this off of a feeling for those of you that are listening. I'd compress the shock like halfway.
It's against the water.
Shouldn't. No, because remember we didn't overfill it. Now I'd put the screw in. And what'll happen is when it compresses, it'll only be compressing half as much. When it extends, it'll actually create a little bit of vacuum. So if you push that thing in all the way right now, it'll probably squirt out a little bit by itself, maybe?
Nope.
No? Okay, that's good. Now if you extend it all the way, does it draw itself back in and up a little bit?
Nope.
No, perfect. That's exactly what we want.
All right. Okay,
And
so
did the shock cap bottom out?
what?
Or did it run into that retainer ring first?
I bottomed it out and then I lifted this one up.
Okay. So that retainer ring basically allows you to adjust the height of the suspension. But it's not like a lock nut for a cap. I'm just letting you know.
Okay. So this little dude goes.
So you went to market?
Like that guy?
Yes.
Beautiful. And one is wider. Does that matter?
Yes, it's going to matter.
How tight?
It's just to kind of hold it on there. I don't think you have to go crazy tight with it. You definitely don't want to strip it out.
Ta-da!
Woo! And they gave us 4 springs, so I'm guessing we have either different spring rates because those don't look like dual springs. Yeah, we must have different spring rates that we can play with. Oh yeah. So some are thicker and some are thinner. So that looks like a thicker one, right? Yep. So we'll try all the thick ones first.
Does this lineup matter?
Not at all.
Okay.
Well, it shouldn't. We'll find out. Squishy! Yay! Oh! That's what I get for being a jackass.
Okay.
So same procedure with that, and then we're good. And once you get done with that, we will call it. Oh, that's right. Actually, Leon wanted to know what size the shocks are. Let's find out, Leon. We don't have a ball end in here, but I think this will be close enough for estimative purposes. I'd say these are 98 millimeters, 97, 98, eye to eye. Yeah, somewhere around 97. So these would actually be perfect for the TF2. Yay! Sean, we don't have any prizes set up for the longest watcher. Like I said, we may give something away at some point in the series, but I don't know. We don't have anything really planned. This is more of just for fun. You're welcome, Leon. You've been neglecting your hot chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but you're almost done.
Now it's spring flavored.
A little bit of metal. Your doctor said you were low on iron. So.
I need to think of a racing name.
A racing name?
Yeah, everybody's got cool nicknames.
Mm-hmm. You could be jacked up.
Ah.
Oh. Because, you know, Jackie.
It's a metaphor for my life. Alright, there's 2. Boom!
Alright. We're good. So we will... We can go... Yeah, get your stuff organized. We'll shut her down. We can go back and look at the video later to see what it was that you dropped. Try and find it. I guess we can thank everyone for watching. That's going to do it for us today. We will be back tomorrow, I believe.
Yep.
We're going to try tomorrow about the same time. If not tomorrow, it'll be the next day. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time.
Jackie builds CAPRA. Jackie builds a CAPRA. Jackie builds CAPRA. Jackie builds a CAPRA.